Hi, I'm Ms Hearn. Let's get started. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up because that will help other students to find the video. In this video, we're going to talk about what's the diagonal of a rectangular room which measures 10 feet by 24 feet. And the challenging part about this is actually the answer is supposed to be given in both feet and inches. So we're going to have to pay attention to that in the end. But here's a diagram with a room that's 10 feet by 24 feet. And in red here, we've marked off the diagonal of the room. And you can see that by slicing through a rectangle with a line through the diagonal, we form a couple of right triangles. And this diagonal is the hypotenuse of those right triangles. So I'm going to write 24 feet down here so you can see this is a 10 by 24 by we don't know right triangle. We normally call the hypotenuse, or the side opposite the right angle, C, and we use the relationship a squared plus b squared equals c squared to find the third missing side when we have the other two. So let's go ahead and do that. So it doesn't matter if, by the way, the sides here are called the legs of the right triangle. 10 and 24 are their lengths. It doesn't matter which one you call A and which one you call B. So we're going to just write 10 squared plus 24 squared equals C squared. Okay, so 10 squared is going to give us 100, and 24 squared is 576, which I got on my calculator. That adds up to C squared. So we have 676 equals C squared. So the opposite of squaring something is taking the square root. So if a number squared is equal to 676, then to reverse that operation, the number itself is the square root of 676. Technically, it could be the positive or negative square root, but since we're talking about a length that is a distance, which is positive, we don't need to worry about the positive and negative. So we're just going to say the square root of 676. You can use your calculator. And we get that C is actually equal to 26. And remember, the units we were using were feet. So this is going to be 26 feet. And they asked us in feet and inches. Now, we were lucky on this problem because the 676 just happened to be a perfect square. So we didn't get any decimal part. We just got 26 feet. So we can say 26 feet and 0 inches. But let's suppose we had some different dimensions, because in MyMathLab, which is what we're using, we can get different iterations of the problem that might come out slightly differently. For example, what if we were asked to find the diagonal of a rectangular room that measured 13 feet by 18 feet? We would still use the same procedure, plugging in to a squared plus b squared equals c squared, the Pythagorean Theorem, 18 for A, 13 for B, or vice versa, doesn't matter, and find C. So we would get that C squared is 493, and that would mean that C is the square root of 493, which is approximately 22.204 feet. Well, this means that the diagonal is 22 feet and some quantity of inches, which we need to figure out. Now remember, a foot is 12 inches. There are 12 inches in a foot. So one way of thinking of converting that decimal portion of the distance there is to multiply by 1 in a special way. So we're not changing the value, just the units. So 12 inches is equal to a foot. So if we write 12 inches over 1 foot, this is really just the number 1. And we're going to multiply 0.204 feet by that. Think of this as being over 1 as well. So multiplying straight across, we're going to multiply 0.204 times 12. The feet units cancel out, and we're left with 2.448 inches approximately. Rounding off to the nearest whole inch, then, this is going to be about 2 inches. So we could say that the measurement of our diagonal of our room would be 22 feet and 2 inches. So that's how you work it out when you have a decimal portion of your foot that you need to convert to inches. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, give it a like. That helps other students to find the video.